for the CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming team. By the way, Game is back into play, and Kimbo Horora is the only other tank player is filling in for Samarita, and Tayo is filling in for the flex tank. Could be the case.
Yeah, I mean, it is looking like that may be the case indeed. And it is already Nova actually picking up that first fight win.
Running triple support, one tank, which is something we did see earlier, dropping off that flex, or rather replacing it with the Brigida. Not quite triple DPS out of CAG, but they are, oh, nice shot by one, by the way. But they are running one of their DPS players, Tayo, on a flex tank.
Oh, straight on top of the support line as well with that rocket barrage. Goes down for his trouble, but it doesn't matter. The fight is effectively won off the back of that. Nova going to be able to hold on to this point just a little bit longer and extend out the lead. And you're going to have to enjoy the feature of our voices and our voices alone. We are just having a little bit of an audio issue, so bear with us while we get that resolved. For the time being, enjoy the delicious visuals of Overwatch.
Yep, and if you're lucky, maybe Pixie will do the sound effects for you in the game, but if you're not, then it'll just be us. But that aside, I don't think that's accurate, because nothing was really, happening.
I mean, sure, but like that's a demo reel. That's what I can do.
This is just map 1. Let's wait to see what happens in map 4. But even in this first map, 5 ultimates now available for Nova Esports. They're starting to really get away with a 70% as well. You got to think, where is CAG? 2 ults been popped. Make it 3.
Pulse Bomb does go wide, but they commit to the fight in a big way here. Nova going all in on those support ultimates, and it pays off. They pop Kenma Hororo, who did not use a Primal Rage. There's a res in. He's got to make this one count. He's got to pop the Rage there. It goes now. Blue trying to get aggressive, and haha, the sound is back on. It's like when the TV snaps back into color. And as that happens, CAG snap back into their own groove, getting the kills through to take the point off Nova at long last.
At 99% as well. At the final hour, they managed to be able to get in there. You got to ask for Nova. They still had 2 ults remaining, but couldn't quite commit them in there. So now they have a lot of time to work with. I guess is the silver lining for the squad, but didn't quite expect Nova to get this kind of lead on top of CAG this early. Again, CAG is the favorite team here. Nova are the underdogs, but it's Nova that are winning.
I mean, we have already called it into question ever so slightly exactly how favored CAG is. So there is a world in which this isn't too surprising. But certainly for now, yeah, not what we expected. Nexus going in now with the Primal Rage. Nova are in a position, if they can win this fight, they likely win this first map of Oasis. One gets traded back onto them, though. Getting some work done, though. That's Tayo popped, and Kenma Hororo down as well. Claire can't res all of them, and they don't really have any rescue ultimates here. Unless Depp gets the world's most insane Pulse Bomb, but not going to happen. And, well, weather forecast is cloudy with a chance of justice as one just kind of throws that onto a little bit of nothing. Waters the crops. And Nova's going to cap the point back, 99%. Can CAG get there? No, they can't.
Kimmo Horora is the Winston, even copped the Pulse Bomb right in there from Blue, so the opportunity to get somebody stalled was very minimal. CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming, that's as a 0-1 beginning on Oasis. Again, not the kind of expected start for this team, sitting at 4-0, the only team remaining in this entire, both groups, I should say, the entire season with a perfect record. About to potentially lose that if they're not too careful, especially if it is actually Samarita away for the whole day, for the rest of this match. It's CAG kind of stopgapping. It's them trying to make it work with the rest of their members.
And let's be clear, it's not a good-looking stopgap, at least based off Gardens there. Look, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but now moving out onto University, hopefully they can just change the tune a little bit.
Now this is a little bit different. We have seen some Soldier gameplay, but it's been quite rare. Depth's on the other side with the McCree, and that's kind of what you'd expect instead. McCree has been getting a lot more gameplay, having a lot more success and stability over the Soldier pick, but it's Nova, Marissa Hogg, looking for the picks.
Depp getting bumped back a little bit, not quite finding the headshots, or even really the body shots onto Blue or One. It's Amican who finds the shots though onto Crazies, and that's a nice opening. Also getting Nexus even as the res on Crazies comes in. That's going to give the point to CAG as it unlocks. Nova not really making any headway.
And not really finding the picks as well. When you're running Blue onto the Soldier as well as the original Marissa Hogg combo, you're expecting a lot more with the hooks and the halts, Helix Rocket combos and all that kind of good stuff. And losing Oyo now, being pushed back slightly further, no resurrection in play. Nova Esports just kind of letting this progress tick up for CAG.
They kind of don't have a choice. Like, they're not getting picks, and they don't have any ultimates that they could use to try and start a fight or win a fight even. just means CAG kind of extend the lead for free.
Well, there's one thing they can go off of. I was also going to say they also don't have the positioning with depth down. You can't res an environmental kill. CAG are kind of forced to be able to use the Transcendence just to stay alive.
Claire goes down though, not so lucky in terms of staying alive, and one gets 3 before dying. That is a big tempo shift in favor of Nova now. They don't need to actually commit those other ultimates here. One gets raised up, and they kept the point over.
Looks actually a big flank from Blue. You did notice he went underground. I'm expecting Blue to pop up from the other side, from the CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming spawn with the visor at this stage. And for Nova Esports, this is what they want to do with their composition. They have Arissa Hog, and they are set up. It's hard for them to retake once they lose the point, and once they have the point, this is where they're favored.
That being said, CAG come in with a pretty solid rack of ultimates and some very high impact ones as well. So Nova have to play this very carefully, very
Blue
well.
down.
Yeah, losing Blue early is rough. That's a big ultimate that they sorely needed. The res comes in. Now here's the commit from CAG. That's a not great grab. It's only really on Nexus. He does go down thanks to the Dragon Strike, but it's the rest of the team getting picked off around the sides that's sliding to fight the way of CAG, and all those ultimates that Nova did have, they just don't get anything for him. Even Crazy's killing one with the whole hog is nowhere near enough, and the point goes back to CAG.
And Nova don't even overtake CAG's progress there, which really hurts them right now. And especially with one member, Crazy's going down late. This is just more time lost. You're not going to res it because he's just too far forward. And for Nova Esports, this should be another easy 10 to 15 to 20% in CAG's favor before they even regathered.
Certainly like to think so. I mean, just because Nova are so lacking in ultimates in the macro game side of things, and CAG, need I remind you, need to win this just to tie things up. Now Nova looking for their next angle of attack.
Supercharged, and with that one, gets a clean shot onto depth.
Nexus, though, speaking of clean shots, eats a few too many from Anakin. One does get Dio, though, and Kenma Hororo going down as well. Nova able to win that fight pretty handily, actually.
That seems like it's enough. I'll also note that if you want to do the maths here, if you have Supercharger and you also have the Mercy damage boost, your rockets are doing a ton of damage.
That
CAG,
math checks out.
Yep, it does. It does.
I got the same thing.
I also used a bunch of numbers in there, as you'll notice.
Yeah.
Point aside, CAG now do get to come back in with some ultimates finally in their pocket. And at 94%, if they win one fight, they could probably just finish the entire map, which again, like I said, they really need to be able to do just to tie things up on this.
That being said, Nova themselves have got some pretty decent ultimates. They are sitting on a Transcendence of their own. They are coming up on a Dragon Strike. If they can get that out, they also pick Det, which means no Deadeye. Double Transcendence now on the point. The Dragon Strike to come out from Blue is the one that does the work. Amigan hasn't committed his yet. One, it's not an ideal rocket barrage. He does kill Dep. There's going to be the grab to come out, though, from the side of CAG.
Probably didn't need the Dragon.
And there's the Dragon. Didn't need it. They're still not really on top of this fight just yet. It's been even. And Nova is starting to, speaking of even, get even in the percentages. Kenma Hororo, Earth Shatter, kind of gets whiffed, goes down for it, but it's Claire going Battle Mercy, looking to finish off Nexus as well. Between Teo and himself, they're going to manage to do it. And I think CAG have been able to get the presence back on the point, 94% as well. Nova will have one last hurrah to get in and flip it back, but man, what a wacky fight.
I mean, both their tanks just using solo ults there. And Tayo even, I mean, I got to question Amican a little bit more. There was a Dragon Strike on a single target. You're right, is anyone here? We're into the overtime.
Restia got the overtime for them, and they have actually got a few members in, but Nexus is already down. Crazy's only just came back in on the Soldier so that he could get to the point quicker. Nova haven't really got into this fight, even with one getting that kill. I mean, unless Blue's going to get a whole lot, it's not looking good. They have no tank presence. They have no way of dealing with Kenma Hororo and Teo. And that's to say nothing of the ultimates that would come off cooldown if this fight goes on too long. Nova, no hope for this one. There's a grab for good measure. And CAG going to even up Oasis.
All they needed to do was get to come back together on top of that point after, again, I have to highlight the solo ult usage there. Even from Kenma Hororo, just smacks a hammer down on top of only Nexus, who, by the way, doesn't even die. And it's like, okay, well, they're very desperate to be able to try and win this fight right now. Not getting high value. Again, the Dragon from Amican on one target, who honestly was probably already dead. They could have had a lot more mileage out of all of those ultimates, but with Nova Esports' failure to kind of capitalize on those mistakes, to get the counter picks, and for CAG still able to come back, and Tayo with a huge string of kills at the end there as Desire. That's enough.
20. Don't know what 20 is. It's 20 green men. We're all still alive. And that means we, for the first time tonight, actually go to a full 3 maps on our control. So, this is now another change-up composition. Nova playing something very funky here. Triple DPS, and that is with a Reaper and Soldier.
Actually, the Reaper works kind of well because Anakin is a pseudo-tank in a sort of ways. Nova Esports want to be able to rush in here. Crazy's in the front line if possible.
Trying to get the damage in on Tayo. Drill him down does pay off. Counter damage onto Nexus is there, but by the time that comes through, Nova have just run away with the kills. The res on Anakin is not going to rescue this fight, no sirs. The cap's already gone over to Nova.
CAG just stuck in a really difficult place in, I want to say the choke, but realistically, enough room to work with in the middle section, but Nova Esports locking CAG in there, running in themselves, Crazy's headlining himself with that Hellfire shotgun, 1 untouched triple DPS, and the damage was more than enough.
Nova trying to get set up enough on this defense that they can start running away with the macro game. If they can just get maybe this Death Blossom, arguably the Tactical Visor could be enough. They can maybe do that. Now the fight starts to break out as CAG go in. Claire dead right as he pops Valkyrie. Pulse Bomb out as well on top of Tayo's mech, and this is what Nova have been needing. Oyo needs to pop this rally straight out now. There it goes, and Crazy's does have a Death Blossom that he can use. One can start legging it back to the point. This is really back and forth. As long as Anakin is still in this one, damage is still getting done. Not quite getting the headshot on Oyo, and CAG still actually haven't really broken this one.
But CAG still waiting for members to regroup here. They're barely on top of this point. 57% for Nova and counting, and Nova still have ultimates to play with. They still have so much damage. And it's going to take CAG to be able to pop a few members down. Starting with 1 would be good.
But he was able to get to the big health pack, which means he actually gets out of a very hairy situation scot-free. And that's a high impact ultimate he brings back to his team. CAG needed to wait for respawns, and that allowed Nova to get their own respawns back into the mix. And it is still, like you said, Nova with the ultimate. Speaking of, Ken Mahororo has to pop the Primal Rage to stay alive. 1 pops the Tactical Visor. And again, yeah, is this 2017? Because we're seeing a Winston diving onto the ulting Soldier to shut him down. Death Blossom on the point, doesn't get the mileage it needs, and it does look like CAG is going to run away with these kills. Nexus knows better than to pop a Primal Rage in that situation. 96% though, not half bad.
For Nova Esports, they failed 2 attacking ultimates there, rather 3 if you include the Pulse Bomb. 1 got nothing out of the Visor, pushed away by Kemo Hororo. Crazy's got nothing out of the Death Blossom, and we didn't see any Pulse Bomb kills. So for all the damage output, for all the resources that Nova had, 0 value, 0 win.
CAG, I feel like the difference maker here, if any, will actually be that Claire's soon to have a Valkyrie. If they can get some mileage out of that, then they're in good standing for this fight. They've already committed the self-destruct. That was the only other tool they had. Ken Mahororo's dead. Claire's going to have to find a res on that. Nexus is getting low, but he's also getting topped off as Oyo pops Tayo's mech. There's the res on Ken Mahororo, but by the time that happens, Tayo's dead, and now Ken Mahororo's dead again anyway. Claire popping the Valkyrie. Sis is now rescued, but what? Oh, Depp! Triple kill out of the Pulse Bomb.
That's
and
5.
Cleans up the other 2 members. Single-handedly won that fight.
5 kills, unbelievable. Nearly got the 6.
Who says triple DPS can't work?
Yeah. Wow, I mean...
they're not even running triple DPS.
Well, that's because they're not running it. That's
they
why
only
it
need
can't
1
work.
DPS as a turn.
That's the thing, because there's 3 DPSs, and there's a lack of a tank for Nova Esports. They pop so easily to depth, and again, that's the number 6 kill he was looking for.
That's totally changed things. Nova on the cusp of winning here. Suddenly CAG, I mean, even just forcing Nova back off those 2 kills, now 3 kills, they're putting themselves in a potentially winning situation. Depp has potentially just rescued Oasis for his team.
We found the composition that works for CAG as well. They're in control. Nova Esports trying to get in. But the problem is, because they're trying to dive on to Cyclops at the gaming with only 1 tank, it leaves members like 1 just so open. It leaves members even like Crazy's open in the middle for players like Depp to pick out.
Nova do still have a lot of ultimates though, so this is definitely not all over just yet. CAG have to win this fight. Ken Mahororo has to pop the Primal Rage, maybe earlier than he would like. Oyo was able to pop the Rally a moment ago as well. Now let's see if they can get mileage out of that Tac Visor and Death Blossom like they couldn't last time. Anakin dead. or rather kills Blue. It's Blue who is
Nova got to use it soon.
Shot. Yeah, they've got to go. Death Blossom on the point in front of no one. They did get the cap though, thanks to that one though dies as he's channeling that tactical visor, and Blue as well died a little earlier. He's still trying to rejoin the team. They have no reses, no second chances. Crazies is dead. Amakin's going to be the one with the carry pants on this time. Sisterhood of the traveling carry pants between these DPSs. Amakin picking up these last few. The cap will go back again the way of CAG. A second 99 to 99, and a second time it goes to Cyclops Athlete Gaming after being down after the first map. They are going to recover, are going to rescue the map, and they're going to start the series 1-0 up.
Probably a little bit too close for CAG, though. They don't want to be in a position where this has to happen, where Depp has to be able to pull out this kind of kill. You love to see it, but you hate to see CAG be in a position where this is what rescues it for them. That's number 4. That's number 5. Look how clean that was.
Absolutely gross. If only he had also been the one to kill one, that would have been the full 6. We rarely, if ever, see that.
It's a rare sight indeed. Look, CAG...
like a steak.
They almost... I'm going to be quite honest with you. They outside of that significantly big play from Depp, they nearly didn't finish Oasis with a win. It was,
I mean, Nova were winning that fight. Let's be completely clear. They were about to win that fight. They were at 96% on the point already. They almost definitely would have won Oasis off that.
And that would have put CAG onto the back foot, dropping one map. And I think
changed everything.
Having this one map victory, again, assuming Samurai Rider is actually missing today, and it is 2 role swaps, Tayo onto the flex tank and Kemo Hororo onto the main tank. For the fact that CAG get this first map wins is going to give them the momentum to maybe still clean out the series. If Nova are ever going to win a series against CAG, it's probably going to happen in this series based on how close that was. They nearly made the triple DPS work, but I think there's just too many difficulties for that kind of composition, pushing back in when they no longer have presence onto the point. And 2 out of 2 times, we saw no value coming out of the DPS ultimates. 3 DPSs twice in a row.
And it was a very weird composition with the DPSs. That being said, when they weren't trying to use the ultimates, just the straight up damage was actually getting the work done. It's often the opposite that we see, where it's the ultimates that are high impact, and then beyond that, you know, damage is just damage. It's sometimes you frag out, sometimes you don't. But the consistency seemed to be just completely flip-flopped with that particular team comp. But to move kind of a little bit away from that, to move into the wider scope of things now, I think, assuming, by the way, that Samurai is unavailable for this evening's matches, when you consider that CAG are in this uncomfortable situation in terms of their roster, if you look at Oasis as being their time to kind of get things together, get it right, and get a bit more comfortable with Teo and the flex tank, they still picked up the win, and they are looking a bit more comfortable now.
And that's exactly what they need, because we're heading into King's Row now as well, map number 2. This could be a really difficult place for them if Nova get that first map win. I think we've really started to believe that Nova are just possibly going to win this whole series. But CAG getting a map win, if Nova get this one back, it's a 1-1, could still be anyone's game. But it does still put CAG just a little bit into the lead. You have to just always consider, currently their scoreline is 4-0. They've had some close calls in there. Nearly lost to Incipients at one point. And that was only a week ago, but they did win ultimately. So for this team to suddenly lose even in this week would still be a surprise.
King's Row again. Feels like we went a really long time without seeing any King's Row. I mean, we did over the course of Season 1, but it feels like it was even longer than that somehow. I don't know what it is, just feels like we didn't see much of it. Now we're seeing a lot of it.
That's because you've been gone for 2 weeks.
Ah.
Now you figured it out.
Ah. Yeah, you know,
you actually didn't see anything.
I saw nothing at all. It does, I don't know, somehow feel really long. And now that we're seeing King's Row again, I'm already sick of it. No, it's
same. No,
it is actually quite interesting.
Narrow streets.
It is actually quite interesting.
Big tanks.
I mean, it's always been one of the mainstays of just competitive Overwatch in general. It's a map that you can expect every team to be equally proficient on. There's no surprises. There's no, you know, this team is a bit more favored, bit less favored, yada, yada, yada. You just see this very honest, even, like, which of these two teams is just the better team? The map's got nothing to do with it. I like that. I also just like the map. It looks nice.
Well, I'm happy for you. That's always good. You always need some of that in your life.
Things that look nice, that's why I keep you around.
Oh, shucks.
Cobbled streets, tiled roofs, smokestacks, definitely London.
Even in the undistinguishable future, it's still largely the same.
And then like the odd super modern high-rise. That is exactly London. You know, London has, I'm trying to remember the particular term they use for it, but it's basically like preserved sightlines. Like, there are certain views that cannot be interrupted. So there's like you must always be able to, you know, stand in one place and see like this other particular landmark. And there's a few of them that must be preserved. You cannot build anything that obstructs that view. There's only a few places you can actually build skyscrapers in.
Well, I think that's why it's a good Widow, man.
Yeah, but they still manage to build ugly buildings like the walkie-talkie. You know, really.
So this is a big change up now for Nova. They just wanted to scout out what CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming were running. They decided to respond with very much the same thing, I gotta say. So the difference here is they don't have, or rather they are running the Ana, where CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming are not.
This is a bit of a, I mean, I don't want to say it's like a massive deviation out of Nova. It's just a little bit different, but
We've seen a lot of Ana. We've seen Ana for all three matches.
We're seeing a lot more Ana all of a sudden. I mean, I'm liking this, you know, this whole setup with the hog and the everything. Like, you get to see those sort of nano, technically whole hog combos. I think just in general, this is giving Nova a lot of pick potential, and they're really making that work for them.
Especially when you see Restia's over 80%, nearly got the nano boost already.
Who's already got a dragon
That's
strike.
actually ridiculous the kind of damage output they're able to get.
It's a bit of a weird dragon strike. It does kind of trap CAG into very awkward spots, so it does have some help, but doesn't actually get any kills. Doesn't matter though, they don't need them. The nano boost on top of Nexus is plenty of damage for the side of Nova to continue the cap going. Here's the potential rescue though from Sabagod. Doesn't save depth though, and the Earth Shatter out of Nexus is decent. Ron looking to just damage out with the whole hog at the very least. Oh, people have the point, and Ken Mahororo hammers up more like as he gets blasted sky high, and that is a failure of a grab. Also a failure of a whole hog. CAG are just in for a penny, in for a pound.
I mean, they're still getting kills, so what they can do here, which is really weird, is they can actually get a bit of a spawn camp. At least the minimum thing, the minimum result CAG will get is they get to reinforce with their entire squad around the bookshop and set up a corner defense. That's a minimum.
Yeah, like I said, in for a penny, in for a pound, but unfortunately since Brexit, the pound has plummeted, so not as ideal as CAG would like.
What else isn't ideal is they still lost an A point, and Nova still have quite a few ultimates to work with, especially Grav Dragon combo, and now that card position way back in position with Nova as well. Here comes that Grav.
There goes the dragon.
What? Okay.
Ah, there it is, but it's way too late. That was bizarre. It still kills Tayo, still kills Claire as well. That was a little bit wacky, a little bit off kilter, but it still connects, it's still enough, and it still means Nova keep the cart moving forward.
That's a gong as well. It's a full team kill, which means you're not expecting a CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming team to be able to get back to this point in time. In fact, you should expect Nova Esports to be pushing up way more aggressively than they currently are. They are risking, say, CAG coming in, but I don't think CAG will.
And they're just cycling into another run of ultimates. This is why this team comp is so good right now. They're getting the nano boost up again. They're going to have another whole hog. They've even got a pick on Ken Mahororo. They should just be able to keep steamrolling forward. The card will get close to capping before CAG can really do anything about it.
Yep. Big ultimates for, the only ones they're missing is the Grav Dragon combo. You see now Ken Mahororo going on to the Winston. So CAG running more of it, just a straight dive dip onto the Tracer as well. These are very big changes very late. They're not going to have ultimates. They just have to play as they are.
Yeah, and you say no Grav Dragon. That'll be rotated into next as the fight breaks out. They do catch Blue, though. That is a big one. Ooh, good hurt, but no kill, no connection, no conversion. Starting to lay out the damage. Ken Mahororo gets raised back up, but they did lose Amakin in the mix of that anyway. Nova are happy to just kind of sit around and brawl on this one, but they need to be a little bit careful. They are slowly starting to lose, yeah, and I mean, this is where those closer respawns really help. The card did get close to capping, but Nova did also squander a bit of an opportunity there.
I want to say not only did they lose, but they lost ultimates while losing the fight. Technically, they're not out of the fight, but they have been considerably pushed back. CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming should be able to stabilize. And Blue dying so quickly now has the only ultimate available for Nova Esports, but it's the one you expected to be able to combo out with the rest of the team. Now you just don't have it. Yet, anyway. Crazy.
That being said, Restia did just use a nano boost, about to come back up on it. Blue also headshotting out Anakin. Numbers advantage as they come into a grab dragon combo. CAG are going to have to find a really great answer for this. Killing Oyo is a good start. Up next is takes a bit of a walk off the long walk off a short pier.
The other problem here is there's no mercy for Nova Esports, so any mistakes they make are permanent, at least for the time being, because they have to wait for full reinforcements. They can't just undo something by getting a resurrection. We also said that CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming, after changing comps, had no ultimates. They've actually built up ultimates now, and that's an issue for Nova.
Yeah, Nova do still have those ultimates of their own, but they need to make them stick, they need to make them count, and they're not actually finding a good opportunity to throw them out in the first place. But
Nova
with Kale in a bit too deep, yeah, Nova are low though, and too low in fact. They throw out the dragon, sweep and rake across the team. It does some work, but Nova have lost too many members to follow up on it, so they end up blowing one half of their key combo to just get nothing.
And Sabagon was the only one that used an ultimate on the CAG side, so for Nova Esports, despite landing the grab dragon, despite getting the kills, CAG responded in kind and got equal trades, and the equal trades is going to allow CAG to again stabilize, and for Nova again to have to be reset. Your medicine.
Still got that nano boost. That's at least something. They're coming up onto the other 4 ultimates aside from that grab dragon combo. But again, CAG have ultimates of their own. Teo low. Kenma Hororo pops the primal rage. He's going to be just fine. Anakin looking for something with that dragon blade. Not really getting much luck. It's only Restia going down. Does take the nano boost off the table, but it's still not good news for CAG. They've lost members and the cart starting to approach the cap. Oh, good hook.
That's not what you want to see if you're CAG or Anakin right now, because you need members, you need a lot more reinforcements. Gemma Horo's going to try and stall this one up, but doesn't have a primal to do so.
Yeah, it's the last ditch effort in. Sabagon already dead, and Claire with the Valkyrie running can only do so much. Sabagon now respawning, res on Kenma Hororo, but Dep's down now. It's just the revolving door of respawns as a dragon sweeps across the cart, makes it hard to contest. They accept that they just had to leave some casualties in its path so that the cap doesn't just go through for free, but it may have as well have been because of the kill still coming through. A grab as well on one side, Earth Shatter on the other. Good dodge by Dep, yeah, but I mean it's still...
Is this happening?
Wow, hold on, Dep's got a pulse bomb. CAG, Anakin, oh, he does go down. One got the kill on there. It looked like there was a brief moment where CAG might be able to get something crazy, but no. Just too many kills on the side of Nova.
Oh, Dep there with a sidestep on the Earth Shatter. Quick feet. You almost started to believe he can save this fight again. He did it on Oasis. Can he make it happen twice in a row? And the answer is no. That's also what you'd expect. It doesn't feel anticlimactic. It feels like this is what is normal. You don't expect that huge string of kills to come through. And one of the questions for that Oasis is, which was almost kind of answered, is what happens if he doesn't get that huge string of kills? Well, probably Nova finish Oasis with a win. Now, the same thing kind of happens here, where for Dep, he doesn't have that huge clutch game-saving play, so Nova finished the cap. But what we can say is, with 117 remaining, CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming had a stunner of a defense, still considering where they were. Again, a full compositional swap, no ultimates. Nova coming in with basically all their ultimates, and still it took Nova until 117 to actually finish.
Which is also not bad in some respects. They did have to take a little bit of extra time on C, but that is also a little expected in some regards. It does take time to crack that point. Ultimately, what it does is it sets themselves up for a full hole somewhere. CAG have to fully cap out, and then they also have to win the time back. So, I mean, it puts them on the back foot. Doesn't mean it's won yet for Nova, but it puts CAG on the back foot.
I think King's Row is one of the more capable maps that we have in the map pool, whereas you look at Rialto and it's one of the lesser capable maps because you just can't quite finish in time for the most part. So you do expect CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming to be able to complete, but with how much time remaining? 117 for Nova actually isn't a super competitive time, all things considered.
Nova running essentially the same team comp here as well. By the way, though, they're swapping one and blue around. So there was one on the whole hog last time and blue on Hanzo. CAG, aside from Dep being on the Widowmaker instead of the Tracer, also running essentially the same thing here.
Which actually might be an upgrade. He's well known for being a Widow player. And I'm surprised it's taking this long for him to jump onto the water, but a slow start here. Good trade though, and they've even...
Yeah, that res coming through onto Ken Mohororo is big, and Restia hasn't been able to find the same res on Nexus. If he is going to find it, he's got to find it now. No, Nexus has to take the long walk back. First third going the way of CAG already, and Nova not really mounting much of a counter-attack right now. They don't have the numbers for it. Now even losing blue, it gets worse and worse. That was just as Nexus rejoined, only in time to die. It's just not going to be able to happen here for Nova.
And note that's going to be more and more difficult for them to come back in. First of all, because of their losing members currently, Crazy's late death. But also, if you looked at Depth's positioning on the high ground next to the clock tower, no one can touch him, no one can dive onto him because Nova are not running a diving team. Maybe one gets a long-range headshot, but that's a big maybe. Depp was doing a lot of damage, and he was totally uncontested.
And that's the difference with this team comp on the defense, rather on the attack instead of on the defense, I should say, on the side of CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming is Nova don't really have anything to contest that verticality. It's not just those snipers' nest positions, it's also Anakin being able to play a little bit more to that high ground for mobility's sake. You just have more options on the offense.
We also have a lot of options in terms of ultimates for CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming. Got options on the defense as well for what they want to respond with, and what they want to respond with is a quick dragon.
They do kill Ken Mohororo as well, but CAG have gone all in. They've really committed here. Restia as well did go down. No Valkyrie popped from him. When you compare that to CAG, who went all in with the Valkyrie and the Transcendence, and now even throwing in a Graviton Surge. It secures the fight, it keeps the payload moving, and all's well that ends well.
Slight scare there for Anakin, does get pinned, but well, Nexus dies before anything exciting happens, and CAG should be looking to get another quick and easy cap. Will give them a lot of time to work with for C. However, the problem exists when Nova Esports have a lot of ultimates to defend with. So finally, they will be able to dig in their heels, or rather, they're expected to dig in their heels for this last defense.
You'd hope so. They've got to knock at least 4 minutes off the clock if they want a comparable time. If CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming are going to cap.
Giving away a lot of space here. Nova are being very reserved for how aggressive they should be considering anything else. Here we go, finally.
There it is. They throw in the grab, but I mean, even in getting that kill, they still lose someone. Earthshatter, yeah, does get blocked by Nexus. CAG are really committing to this one. I don't blame them. Nexus connects a little bit better. Nova having to commit everything now. They're not actually getting many kills, largely counted out by that Transcendence, and now just kind of throwing themselves at a wall.
But CAG didn't even have ults to play with. They barely just got their Earthshatter in time. Now they're about barely able to get the Transcendence as well. Finally, they lose members, but Nova had about 5 to 6 ults. They only have 1 now.
And they're losing members, but still kind of moving the cart forward a little bit. This is the first point where it started to become a little bit of a time sink for CAG.
Okay,
as one able to finally go in with an aggressive ultimate, get some work done, but I mean, that took way too long, was way too ult inefficient, and gave up way too much ground.
That was about a 1-minute fight, which kind of works in Nova Esports' favor because CAG took a long time, but at the same time, if you look at the card distance, you'll probably take that for 1 minute of consistent engagement.
You still got 4 of them.
That was a fight going on all the while. No one was winning, but the cart was moving. Therefore, CAG are ahead.
Nova this time getting proactive with the Graviton
Just
surge,
no kills.
but yeah, no follow-up. Who was ever going to be able to go in on that? Makes you wonder what the point was. Nexus is already dead before he can get anything done. And now Anakin going for a deep dive with this blade. Finds blue. Now looking to get something stuck in the ground. These 2 supports. Ooh, there they go straight on down. And CAG just start wheeling that cart into its terminus.
That's it.
No trouble whatsoever. That is a mammoth time bank.
Like I said, a very capable map for both teams, for all teams who really should be playing on this map. And when you look at it, 117 versus 335, well, it's more than double for one of these teams. In fact, you're nearly in the realm of triple the time. CAG just were not stopped up. We thought Nova Esports had a very comparable time. We look at the A offense, look at the B offense as well. Not that much defense happening for CAG. You get to see, and this is where the difference maker happens. Nova coming, again, big ultimate advantage. CAG have basically nothing, and CAG win. Go on the opposite side. CAG are attacking the 3rd point. Nova Esports have a big ultimate advantage, 5 to 6. CAG have nothing, basically nothing. CAG still win. It's 2 out of 2 now, 1 on attack, 1 on defense.
I mean, even more than that, like, what's actually happening is CAG are doing a great job of not losing when they're in those situations. It's not like they're handing back a full 5 kills or something. They're just losing like maybe one member, killing one back, but moving the payload. It's just these tiny little things, and it's just, it means Nova are using a lot of tools for no gain. That's really where the win comes in. It's not so much getting the kills, it's not so much having massive distance and totally running away with the game, but it's removing your opponent's ability to run away with the game.
Well, yeah, that's the minimum expectation. If you're not going to be able to get the kills, you have to be able to stop up the objective. You also should be looking to not lose your members, but if you're going to throw out 5 ults, you better be looking for value, and value was not found today for Nova. Have to look for now into the time back. Already on the 1 minute mark. Not expecting too much on this offense unless you get a huge string of kills.
Yeah, this is where it gets rough. Good sleep on Anakin though. Ken Mahororo has to move to the side to block that up. Anti-heal as well onto him as Ken Mahororo drops. So does Anakin, separated as they were from the rest of their team. That is the opening kills that Nova needed. They actually should be able to convert a cap off that alone. They just need to play it smart.
Well, it depends. I think if Depp going down is certainly going to be the end. He gets resurrected back in. I think you can expect Nova to get at least 2 ticks. But CYCLOPS Ethnic Gaming a position to come back in. They got to go fast. That hook was actually insane from one. Stop Ken Mahororo from charging onto the point.
Well, I mean, it's funny though, because Ken Mahororo wasn't even angled towards the point in the first place. CAG, they've lost that one over. Now it's a question of how much distance will Nova be able to get all told. As much as possible is what they need, and nothing less will do, which means CAG need to take early, quick fights. Blue's dead. This is an opening.
That's no res as well. Here comes that nano boost. Depp's tired, didn't get anything, so still chance available for Nova.
And the Crazy's going in is just trying to beat back the tide of CAG, even if they don't get kills. It also charges up a grab. They're coming up on a Dragon Strike 2. The Earth Shatter is not great, but it's not terrible. It buys time. It creates space. Crazy. Oh, in the nick of time. He was so nearly dead. And where's the Dragon? Rakes across the team. It does get 2, and that is just enough as well. Sabagon had just used the Transcendence. Res on Ken Mahororo.
Oh, we're not done.
That is a grab in response, but the shield is up. They're going to be just fine. And Oyo in the middle of it with his own Transcendence. They're going to drill down Ken Mahororo. CAG are putting up a valiant defense here, but it has been broken. The cart continues moving forward, and Nova continues setting a bigger benchmark for the time bank.
And this is also a big commitment of CYCLOPS Ethnic Gaming. Grab into a Earth Shatter.
One's
they
on
used
Bastion.
the Transcendence previously. You're right, one is on a Bastion. They're trying to see how much value they can get out of just this one pick. And the Nano Boost is still available. It has to be a good tie from Depp. Now, he failed the tie before. He cannot afford to fail twice in a row.
They're already coming up on another Dragon Strike. Might even be able to get it in time. This is tough now for CAG. Anakin, no. There's the Dragon Blade straight in. Ken Mahororo's dead, but Anakin's got 2, and it's the supports. Restia got the boost out in the nick of time, but it is no conversion. Overtime vanishes like Houdini. And that is a good amount of progress, what was just over a minute of time. But one must consider that CAG could still absolutely match it. The ideal situation here is to first hold. If they fail that, they need to get a very early defense on the streets phase, but it is still winnable for Nova.
I want to say CAG now have a total time of 4:05, and that is assuming they cap that first point, which gives them an extra 30 seconds. Now for Nova Esports, this becomes so winnable. This was really difficult before. 1:17 is, again, a time you don't expect much to happen. Bring your minds back to the Monster Shield match from earlier today versus Talon Esports. In the time bank, both teams had 1 minute. You didn't get any distance. That's what should be normally happening. But for Nova Esports, look, just capping would have been enough. CYCLOPS Ethnic Gaming maybe hold up the cart rather under the archway in that choke point, but that didn't happen. Once they lost that fight, CAG lost so big and gave Nova Esports so much momentum, they pushed it nearly to the end. That is so winnable again for Nova Esports. So for CAG, a lot of work to be done just to get there.
By the way, what a fight that was. Crazy's getting that grab up just in the nick of time. I mean, nearly died. Within an inch of dying is where that ended up, just as he got that ultimate available.
Yeah. And also a bunch of failed...
Nearly stopped it right there.
Also a bunch of failed ults from CAG as well. Again, Tire went wide, Earthshatter did nothing, Grav barely did much else as well.
Now on the defense, see what Nova can do. Anytime they can take off the clock here is good news, and pick on Sabagon, it's been a good news. Does get res back in, but means that CAG have to give respect to the spam damage here.
Speaking of respect right now, Nova actually backing off, giving CAG a lot of space to work with it, but now they have pressure on the point. and Nova are down a DPS.
Yeah, not sure what Nexus was trying to do backing into that room. It just means he gets surrounded. Oyo getting dived on the back line, no way to protect him. One gets res, but I mean, I don't know that there's much that this Junkrat can do. This is not enough time burned off the clock. Nova, the members surviving, have to back up. That means CAG, they can move forward. They can take free space on this street phase.
And they're going to have the time to do it. With 2 minutes and 35, you'd expect to be enough. One going to go into the fire, try his hand at that. It's not going to be quite a good enough counter, considering Depp is still playing the Hanzo here. There are options for CAG. The Dragon's still available. You'd expect this one to be able to go through quite easily. In the narrow streets of Kings Row Streets phase, Nova Esports are just running out of options.
They will have a Dragon of their own soon, so it may just be a question of whose Dragon gets more mileage. And now the fight looking to break out. There's the first Dragon out. Catches blue, that's big. I mean, that's without even the Dragon. Now Depp's got his available. He's getting chased down though. He's going to go down. One able to get the rockets in, but it doesn't matter. Anakin's gone aggressive with a Dragon Blade, doing what he does best. And Nova, despite the ultimate commitments they made, at least they did burn time off the clock though. I will give them that.
They need to burn a lot more time right now. Anakin with the insurance policy, Dragon Blade clutches it through. Now Depp still has the Dragon Strike. I mean, it's almost good that he didn't use it before, because now you can combo it with Taio's Graviton Surge. It seems like an almost impossible task for Nova to complete the defense now.
Going in with a grab. Very aggressive out of Taio.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, right. Off to the side. Kenma Hororo finds blue. That's the numbers advantage. Taio stays alive as well. Crucially, they're getting the work done. One does find that, but even with those defensive ultimates being popped, Crazies throws out a grab, but where's the follow-up damage? They can't really do it. They lost one, they lost all the big damage dealers, and they had no ults to combo. Nova, I don't think they can stabilize in this situation. No, they can't. CAG push it over the line. Now it is 2-0 up in the series. Somewhere out there, Blank is starting to breathe a sigh of relief.
And for good reason as well, because, to be quite honest with you, that's now 2 out of 2. Well, you maybe think Nova can do this, and Nova can actually win this map, but it's also 2 out of 2 times they're just unable to. Look at this play now from Anakin. Again, it's a game-saving play. They definitely needed this after what was a disaster of a hold that maybe they were expected to fully hold. And I think we're in a sort of stage where CAG are almost expected to win, and then Nova Esports come through. Yeah. They're like, okay, no, we're going to beat this, and then, okay, Nova's now expected to win. But then CAG, again, returning things to normality, they're able to beat Nova Esports, and especially when you look at how clean and how, not necessarily clean, maybe perhaps not the right word to use here, but how maybe convincing they ended up capping through A and then moving through B with a huge string of advantages.
Yeah.
CAG were just expected to finish the time back.
And here's the weird thing, right? You mentioned it earlier with that play of the game running, game-saving play, and there was also that pulse bomb that Depp had as well on Oasis. It's weird that they're ending up in a situation where the game needs to be saved, but also in both those situations, indeed in all of those situations, there has been that game-saving play that's happened. It makes for exciting games, I'll tell you that, but it does mean that CAG, you can argue one way that if it weren't for those, they wouldn't be winning, but you can also argue the other way that, like, every time they've needed it, it has happened, and they are the ones at match point. Like, that counts for more than anything else.
And I want to argue it a third way to say the fact that...
Do it. Go on.
Well, I am.
Is there a fourth? Let's find it.
Well, maybe not. But the third one is...
All right.
Well, the third one is the fact that I want to go back
to third guy.
I'm going to get there. No, I'm not. It's going to happen after this break. I'm going to save it because you pushed me too far now.
Sorry.
Well, that does mean we're going to wait to see what happens and wait to see what I've got prepared to say, if I remember it,
I'm
after
excited.
this break.